So from being chief executive of the Professional Jockeys Association, which lasted 2 years, I think, if I'm correct, you left to found Rewards for Racing. Where did that come from?
I had the idea for R4R before I went to the Jockeys Association, but I looked again when I mentioned before that I always look at businesses and the reasons why they work and why they don't work and various different business ideas. And I looked at the R4R model in 2007. And to give you an idea, it's obviously an online rewards program. And in 2007, in terms of British racing, 70% of people that came racing either used a phone or walked up in 2007, and 30% was internet based. And in 2011, when we launched the business, it took 2 years to launch it, or 18 months, that had flipped, and that had flipped to 70% tickets being purchased online. And there are various different reasons for that happening, but let's be blatantly honest, if I'd have launched the business 2 or 3 years or 4 years beforehand, it would have been a good idea and fallen on its backside because the market wasn't ready for it. So you've always got to be ready for your market. You've got to look at market trends, and the market trend was telling me that racing was ready to change. They'd brought about Racing for Change. I won't go into Bill and Ben or whatever they called it in terms of the guys that they put forward. But I could see that that racing was realising it needed to modernise itself, and there was also the advent of music nights getting bigger. So back in sort of 2007 and before then, we remember there was Newmarket Nights, which was sort of 7 music nights, and then other racecourses realised, and you're not going to turn up to a music night without a ticket, and so it drove a lot more people online. So we launched in 2011, and it went from there.
Okay, now where are most of the profits coming from? People gaining points for Rewards for Racing, where does it generate?
So we've got 4,000 retailers on the programme. We've got 31 race courses, and we've got 4 bookmaker partners. But 70% of points does come from bookmaking and online bookmaking. Reason being is you bet a lot more frequently than you go racing itself, or that you shop online. So 70% come from there.
Well, it's interesting that a lot of the revenue comes from betting, because it seems recently that betting has become a little bit stigmatised, even though it's been a socially acceptable pastime for decades in the UK. Did you feel that's true?
I think it's gone sort of full circle, really. So back when I was growing up, the bookmaker shops looked like pawn shops. They're all blacked out, and you couldn't really see in and what was going on, and then they turned into Starbucks basically over the last 20 years. But I think where the bookmaking industry has seriously gone wrong is in terms of the machines, and that's what's really driven it. Because the machines have made them lazy in terms of their bookmaking ability and laying a bet and proper bookmakers. And you could say that's where the exchanges are a good thing, because you've got a facility there to lay off. So why people are getting turned down for taking a bet is still beyond me, when you could actually a bookmaker could lay that liability off on the exchanges. In terms of FOB-Ts and the casinos, I think that's just greed. It's not, when you were getting bookmakers opening up shops next door to each other just so they could have an extra 4 machines, now we've got a serious problem. And I think the regulator, and we've now got a well-funded regulator, is definitely looking at the industry. And I think the industry needs to look at itself and realise they're only looking at us because of what's gone on. Now, I think we should be going to the regulator, and I saw the other day that there's some new plans about in terms of the advertising for bookmakers, that we should be self-regulating and saying, look, there's only going to be one gaming advert per break. These are the steps that we want to go and see, rather than waiting for the regulator to come and tell us what to do. We should be going to the regulator and working with them.
Okay, we talked about in the first part that it may or may not be a nice few quid landing in your bank account very soon when you sell the business. What would you attribute to the success of Rewards for Racing?
Relevancy, and it's something that I think you should do across the board in any business. You've got to be relevant to your customer base. So we've got a large customer base. We've got over 1 million members. If I kept bashing out emails to them about irrelevant stuff, it wouldn't work. They'd unsubscribe, and when I was relevant to them, like when they are going racing, I wouldn't be able to talk to them. So we do a very simple thing, is we match up when people are going racing to when people, which we know they're going to place a bet. So if we send them some good information in terms of the spotlight information of the race they're going to see at Sandown or Kempton or which one of our race courses tomorrow, and that there's an offer from one of our bookmaker partners, such as a come to Sandown again and get a free ticket if you join or bet with Coral or Bet365, whichever bookmaker we're promoting that week. It's relevant to the customer because they're going racing. It's relevant to the bookmaker because those people are going to be definitely punting on that day, and you're not trying to push them into anything else. It's something that's going to be relevant to them. So, and it's relevant to R4R, so because they're going to gain points when they do it. So that's the number one thing. So if anyone is about to send communication to our customer base, the first thing that's asked is it relevant to the person that it's going to?
Okay, now obviously very proud of trying to get more people to go racing. Now, what can be done to attract a more diverse crowd into racecourses and indeed working in the industry?
Good question. I was very proud to be one of the members that set up the Diversity in Racing group last year, and we've now got Rose that's come on full time, which is fantastic, as the head of diversity for British horse racing. So we've got someone full time focusing on this. For me, really, it's to take racing to other people's communities. It's fine that we've got race courses and Great British Racing out there saying, please come racing, please come racing. It's an alien thing to them. They don't actually know what racing is. You're not going to learn about racing from an advert. So we need to take racing to them. Now, they're going to see it when they're in a bookmaker shop, and the reason why bookmakers are so diverse when you walk into a shop there is because it's inside their local community. So taking racing and an equicizer, some ex-jockeys and some really cool AI stuff or some videos, and taking that into people's communities, be it into shopping centres, be it into town halls, be it into summer fairs, and actually in their own environment they get to slightly experience racing, and then that's where the education starts, and then they come racing. They start to know what it's about. But at the moment, if you take someone racing, you start talking about a paddock, furlongs, blinkers, fillies, colts. These are all words that whip, let's be blatantly honest. These are things that people are alien in general people's vocabulary, and we need to teach people along the way about what it is. And then once they get it and they get hooked, you end up like me, and you're hooked for life.
Now, have you ever felt marginalised as a person, let's say, from an ethnic minority in racing?
Marginalised? It's a tough question. I don't know whether marginalised. I know that there have been times that I haven't got roles, deals, gigs, or there's a look on someone's face knowing that you're not sort of welcome here. But you can either take that as a negative or you can take it as I'll show you. And I think that's what has driven me over a good period of time is proving a point, I suppose, that I'm as good as the next guy. I'm not any better than the next guy. I'm as good as the next guy. But I've had to try. I think I've had to try quite a bit harder, or do it myself, should I say, rather than perhaps climb a ladder within an organisation.
And is racing particularly antiquated in that respect? I mean, how would it compare to the world of business?
Oh, let's just take the bookmaking industry for a start. Betfair was a massive diverse, but equally it was based in London, so it's got a big diverse, community around it and catchment area of people that can work there, compared to racing, which is actually quite a rural sport. So, although I think what's happened with the advent of a lot of Indian workers coming to work in the sport, although we had the visa problem with the Indian workers about 3 years ago, and there's less of them now. It's becoming a lot more. What my problem is you're not seeing them going up the chain in any way, shape, or form. They remain as stable lads. There are no there's no directors or that work in race courses, should I say? Sorry, that are non-white. I've met one across all our 59 race courses that work in that have a senior position. So that's not saying that's the racecourse's fault at all. It's that it's obviously not on the radar of ethnic minorities either. So again, going back into when I said taking racing into the community, it's not about going racing just in the community. It's about working in racing, of taking that into the community. And I think the Racing for Schools project is brilliant as a foundation, but we need to take it further and actually follow it up more rather than just giving them one bit of experience there.
Okay, thanks. Now, most recently, you're no stranger to the media. You've appeared on TV, Channel 4, etc. They've become involved in Equine Productions, and new breaking news have landed a job with Sky TV. Is this the next sort of stage in your life, if you like?
I think it's definitely part of the next stage in my life. I enjoy, again, it's about promoting racing, which I think, as we've talked through this morning, it's everything I've done is about promoting racing. And I really hope that I can bring perhaps a new angle to both the production of it and also the promotion of it. And I think Sky I watch Sky Sports on a regular occurrence, and their promotional adverts that they do for different sports. I'm not a big football fan whatsoever, but I'll watch their promotional advert for the start of the Premiership, and all I want to do is watch football. That's brilliant, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in terms of the promotion and advertising the sport that we love.
Okay, now your business mind is still in its prime. You can tell that. I'm guessing you're always on the lookout for the next opportunity. Where do you see a future business opportunity and money to be made in the horse racing game?
Well, open up the bag of secrets. There's one that I'm seriously keen that it happens, and I've probably got too much on my plate to do it, so I'd be fully happy to support someone else doing it. But our biggest problem in horse racing is that we haven't got one single destination where you go to buy a ticket to go racing. If you type Go Racing into Google, you'll get Go Racing in Yorkshire, which is great if you're a Yorkshire course, Go Racing in Ireland, and then you'll get a bit of SEO search from whatever race meetings going on this weekend, and it turns into motor racing. What we need is a website or an app. I mean, 3 clicks, you've got a ticket. So if you and I are sat down in the pub and we say, let's go racing in the next month, we can go on, we type a postcode in, it comes up with all the meetings that were in a 50-mile radius, just like you're doing if you're booking a hotel or whatever it works out to be. Very, very simple. These are your 3 different ticket types, not the 800 ticket types that are in British horse racing as we speak. These are the bronze, silver and gold, the first class, business class, premium economy and economy tickets that you can go to a race meeting here and bang, you've got a ticket sent to you. So having a one destination ticketing portal for our sport has been needed for a long, long time.
Okay, thank you very much. There you go, everyone. Josh is giving you the idea there. Right, finally, yesterday it was absolutely tipping down and freezing cold. Well, I'm guessing you were riding out. Why on earth do you still do that? You're a millionaire.
I'm not a millionaire because I'm a racehorse owner. So as soon as you get there, it starts coming out again. So you have to go and do another business. I love riding out. It's the one time you're at one with a horse. It's there's no phone. It's the most. I'm very lucky to live in Lambourne, which is one of the most beautiful parts around here. We've got amazing gallops. We have great fun with the lads and lasses, and I've got some great friends. There's a sort of a rumour that the seniors tour has started riding out Oliver Sherwood's with Nick Bentley and Nathan Horrocks and the old boys that I used to ride against years and years ago that have been mates all the way through. We're sort of all back in the saddle or riding out the same place. I can't think of anywhere better than getting piss wet through, taking the mickey out of Luke Harvey as he comes past on his pointer and getting dog's abuse from Oliver Sherwood.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Josh Apiafi. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Pleasure.